but it's fun hanging out with them and seeing what they're interested in and hanging out with the babies who are.
How old is your son, Lynn?
He is 51.
Okay. Yeah, because my oldest is 46. I was going to say, do they understand what the work you do? Do they have any idea?
Uh, a little bit, not really.
Yeah, that's the same with me. Okay, yeah. And they
Yeah,
do and they don't. I mean, if you're in that, if you think you're a person, you're never going to see it.
right.
Yeah.
Well, and I don't really talk to him about it because honestly, it seems like um, you know, I, we talk about enough other stuff. We do talk about reality and everything, but God's not on their uh, agenda, so not
Same with my kids. Yeah. And, I was trying to tell them so I could protect them from pain. And, that was just me believing they can be in pain.
was your pain. All right, where are we at, Mickey, in chapter 15?
Let me get out my little spiral notebook and go back to Tuesday, chapter 15, section 7, paragraph 1.
All right. Thank you for that. Thank you for letting me put you on the spot there.
You're ever so welcome.
Let me see now. I will get it up and we can start reading from I love this. The needless sacrifice. All right, here we go. Who would like to read paragraph 1?
I can
And
read if I can read that without my glasses.
Can you make it a little bigger, Lynn?
that's what she said. Oh,
I
Oh,
could go get my book.
no, no, no. Sorry, guys. Those are my husband's kind of jokes.
Actually, I could just get my glasses, but
That's all right. Let me see. Why do I not have a place to make it bigger here? We're on because it's
maybe
this.
hit that plus sign down by sign in. Yeah. And no,
I don't know what it is. They have
no, that
added.
has to do with the browser.
Yeah, yeah.
okay,
Usually,
I'll read it while you're fiddling around.
oh, here we go. Here we go.
Got it?
I was freaked
Ah,
out because
yay. That's much better.
Yay.
is that bigger enough or does it need a little more?
That's bigger enough for me, but I don't know about anybody else. So, beyond the poor attraction of the special love relationship and always obscured by it is the powerful attraction of the Father for his Son. There is no other love that can satisfy you because there is no other love. This is the only love that is fully given and fully returned. Being complete, it asks for nothing. Being wholly pure, everyone joined in it has everything. This is not the basis for any relationship in which the ego enters, for every relationship on which the ego embarks is special.
All right. So what is Jesus saying here? Mickey,
Well,
thank you.
this just goes back to that thing I was saying earlier when the response I got was, you just have to love yourself, you know? That's just as much of a special relationship as anything else. Every relationship on which the ego embarks is special. If it has to do with the ego, it has to do with specialness. And that's becoming more and more clear to me lately, that anything the ego wants is special. And there was something in today's lesson that Ken said, and I don't know if I can find it really quickly, but Um, no, I can't. I'll have to find it. Rafi, you go ahead and I'll try and find this thing.
Okay, the sentence that jumped out at me is being complete, it asks nothing, being wholly pure, everyone joined in it has everything. Have, be, I am. One. It simplified it to the point of a clarity that's beyond description for me. And I mean, I was drawn to it. So obviously, there are no mistakes. And that's what I needed to be reminded of. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Mickey. And I'm gonna go check the radio. So go ahead and talk as much as you.
Okay, I found it and then I lost it and then I found it and then I lost it. Um, but anyway, if if we're okay, Ken said, I'm just going to read the first paragraph of what Ken said today. Jesus underscores what he taught us in lesson 285. If God is our goal, then we must accept the means of forgiveness he has given us. As students of A Course in Miracles, the specific means include the Course itself. If we are therefore serious about reaching God, we must be serious about what will help us attain our goal. This means that when we hold thoughts of anger, judgment, and specialness, we are stating that God is not our goal, at least not right now. And so every relationship on which the ego embarks is a special relationship. Anything that we do that has anything to do with the ego is not having God as our goal. You know, the poor attraction of special love relationship, beyond the poor attraction of the special love relationship and always obscured by it is the powerful attraction of the Father for his Son. We keep trying to obscure the attraction of the Father for his Son by hanging on to every special relationship we have. Anything that we have that tries to make somebody else in this world special, including ourselves, is covering over the attraction of the Father for his Son. We do it every day, all day. We want to make somebody that we want to make we want to like somebody better than somebody else. Oh, I can relate to say Lynn. I can relate to Lynn better than that person yesterday who said, "Oh, you just have to love yourself." I'm making Lynn special because I know Lynn would have high-fived me for saying that new age idiot. So I'm making her special. And therefore, I'm obscuring the love of the Father for his Son, which makes that person just as much a part of God as Lynn. And you have to laugh about this stuff. Anytime I think somebody says something in this group that I can relate to better than somebody else in this group, I'm making them special and I am obscuring the attraction of the Father for his Son. I'm saying I want that camaraderie I feel with another insane imaginary creature, then I want the Father. You know, this is the only love that is fully given and fully returned. Being complete, it asks nothing. And I want some other imaginary illusion walking around in an imaginary world. I want their love more than I want that. I am insane. I am absolutely goo goo insane. Okay, looks like Lynn's back.
Yeah, I am. So yeah, so thank you for all of that, Mickey. And yeah, it's like having that whole philosophy, eat, drink, and be merry, for tomorrow you may die. Let's live it up while we're in the body, in the ego mind. And by living it up, I mean, let's have a pity party, a judgment party. Let's look to seeing how everybody else is wrong and we're right. We go through all that, these special relationships, which all of those are special relationships because they're relationships based on something other than reality. They're based on a condition or an agreement that we have with each other. You will be, I don't know, we'll get married. You'll be my love forever, and I'll be your love forever, and nothing shall come between us except for, oh, maybe later on you find someone else that you love too. Did I break the agreement? Have I ruined the special relationship here? Whatever. Uh, because the special relationship is made to uh, uh, limit that limit our love, but the holy relationship is meant to uh, be unlimited love, and that's what we're being offered here is this unlimited love of our Father, and all we have to do is exchange for it the belief in limitation, and recognize that what God offers us is complete. There's nothing missing in any part of it. So let's see. Uh, oh my goodness. Yeah. And does anybody else have anything on this? Uh, this idea of what what love is and what is love? What love is and what is love? uh, let's look then at paragraph 2. Oh, Rafi, yes, please go ahead.
Yes, in regard to loving, see how I'm loving. If I decided just, oh, I'm going to just give my love to all because all is love. And as soon as I can feel like an upset stomach, all that goes away. The only thing you're focusing on is the upset stomach. What happened to all the reality of love? Oh, my stomach, what is that? Gas? What I gotta get now? What is it? Okay, and it can pull you away. That's when we have to be the most alert. That anything that can distract from the power of the truth of our infinite love, our divine truth, God consciousness, choiceless, effortless, pure, however you define the infinite beingness that we truly are. Any distraction that we don't give into and that we just allow, then we don't get out of it, or I don't get out of it. I stay in it. But if I allow something I said to somebody or something they said to me to distract me away from it, and I don't let it go immediately, then I get caught up in it. And what happened to all the love? What happened to the reality of our infinite divine peace, our bliss, our that should have not? Where did that? So that's what being alert and aware is all about for me. And that's all. Thanks.
Yeah, thank you, Rafi. Yeah, and that absolutely. Um, it's a matter of consciousness and being aware and paying attention and noticing and being honest. Because honesty is the most important thing there. Uh, you can always lie to yourself about it, but really to be honest about it is the most important thing. So, who would like to read paragraph 2?
I can read it. The
Great, thank.
ego establishes relationships only to get something, and it would keep the giver bound to itself through guilt. It is impossible for the ego to enter into any relationship without anger, for the ego believes that anger makes friends. This is not its statement, but is its purpose. For the ego really believes that it can get and keep by making guilty. This is its one attraction, an attraction so weak that it would have no hold at all, except that no one recognizes it. For the ego always seems to attract through love and has no attraction at all to anyone who perceives that it attracts through guilt.
All right, any thoughts on that? Yes, Mickey, please go ahead.
So this goes back to what I was saying before about the ego always entering into a relationship. It is impossible for the ego to enter into any relationship without anger, for the ego believes that anger makes friends. My anger toward that bliss ninny cements my friendship with Lynn because I know that she would disparage that bliss ninny as much as I would. We we make friends through our mutual disdain of others. And that's the ego loves that. The ego just eats that up. So there we go.
Yeah. And isn't that our whole relationship with everything in the world? It's all that comparison, kill or be killed. Uh, we're we're friends with Israel now. We're friends with Dubai. We're going to build an air. We're going to do all these things that that are all conditional, made to um, for some to gain and others to lose. That's the only way the ego can operate. So that's why the needless sacrifice really has to get into the fact that there is no sacrifice if we turn to the truth and the Holy Spirit, that there's no guilt involved in anything. Um, and guilt is the main reason that we do go into relationships with anger. We do go into relationships with judgment and comparison, is because this idea that one is better than another. One has something that the other doesn't have, or that one could have something that the other doesn't have. And that's I love, he says, for the ego always seems to attract through love and has no attraction at all to anyone who perceives that it attracts through guilt. And I find that myself when I start looking at, all the conditional love that appears to be happening, and notice that, how much of it is being really generated through fear and judgment, not through uh, love and seeing innocence and worth, but actually in protecting myself in some way, or defending myself, or um, attacking another. It's wow. This is twisted. It's really twisted. I don't know. Does anybody else have any thoughts about this? All right. Well, yeah. Maybe the next paragraph will bring about uh, was the, where are we getting where have we read this attraction of guilt before? These obstacles to peace. And we're attracted, the obstacles to peace will tell you all about how we're attracted to all of these things that are um, the uh, uh, the criteria we use to judge and to condemn. That's what makes us feel powerful. That at least I'm better than you. You know, I grew up my whole life thinking that I was Irish. Being Irish was the best thing ever. Anybody who wasn't Irish wasn't as good. Of course, there's nothing better than to be Irish and Catholic, which of course you would be. That's a natural way of things. So being Irish Catholic, I had a lot of self-righteousness going on in my mind for a long time. uh, because I basically was taught that anybody else was inferior. And God didn't love them as much. uh, but that's how we all come up with some sort of bias towards whatever it is that our families or our country, our teachers have told us is the important thing to know or be. And that's why we're able to keep so much uh, fear going on in the world, and why wars continue, why weapons continue to be manufactured. All of it is because of this whole idea that some people are right and other people are not. And it's all ideas. It's all ideas. Anybody else have any thoughts on this?
One thing about what you were just saying about armaments and wars, a lot of wars are fought. And here's the ego taking it one step further. A lot of wars are fought so that the people who make war machinery can make more money. If there's a war, then their profits go up. If there's no war, their profits don't go up. And it's all about, I want more, I want more, I want more, I want more. Yeah, but all of these people are going to get killed. Well, yeah, that's too bad. But look how much money I made, $3 more billion this year. Are you kidding? And that's what it's just another way of ego has of using all of that to maintain itself. That's all.
Yeah. Yeah, but if we didn't build those weapons, if we didn't have all that stuff, if we didn't have nuclear weapons and everything that was so much stronger than everybody else, then we would be attacked and we would be lost, and America wouldn't exist anymore. So we're going to keep building those weapons even if there was no war,
I
which
see.
we did with the nuclear. We never had a nuclear war, but we built nuclear weapons and still continue to build nuclear weapons just in case. And billions, millions of people are involved in that industry. Every bit of that industry is, people are working to build whatever, without the thought that we'll ever use them. And so it's not even the fact of war, it's the idea of war that keeps us, having to one up each other all the time. And if they came up with some new weapon in Russia, don't you think we would be running toward figuring out how to make it ourselves, just as we've done for generations upon generations? So, people profit off it, that's for sure. But the reality of it is, it would never exist if we weren't in such deep fear of being attacked, or desire to be able to attack back if we do get attacked. So, it all comes from that same belief that these differences, our differences, are enough that you should die. You know, I should live and you should die. Anyway, any other thoughts on that? Thank you, Rafi, for that. It's like the pharmaceutical industry. We go into that, talk about pharmaceuticals. All right. No, these guys, yep, they're in it to make a lot of money. Well, the intention really is to, um, you know, save lives, keep people from getting sick, help people when they are sick, fix things that are broken. If all of a sudden everybody in the world was healthy and there was no more sickness, then, those guys would go out of business pretty darn quick. But they'll never go out of business because uh, we keep getting reminded all the time of how our bodies are, you know, fragile. If you watch TV for an hour, you're going to see probably 20 ads about some disease or illness or condition that you could have that is now being taken care of by this new drug or that new drug, and ask your doctor about this and that and the other thing. And you can look and say, well, these pharmaceutical people are really greedy and really wanting to make a lot of money on their uh, taking advantage of my weakness and my smallness. But then, of course, I agree with them that I'm weak and small, and so I need protection. So I'm going to, take their drugs. And, is that their fault? That I fell for that, or that I believe that? Because they believe it too. They all believe it too. It's just absurd. If you look at the world, you just see it's the motivations and the things that people do. Gold. We go and why do we dig for gold? We really don't that much anymore because there's so much of it in storage, whatever. We'll never use it. There are uses for it, but not that common because it's so expensive, etc. But we base our or have for many years based our entire economy on this piece of metal that came out of the ground that anybody could go and get. But only people or diamonds or anything like that. It's all based on a belief system that we have an investment in. I don't know. Anybody have any thoughts about that? I don't mean to go on a tirade. I'm just like looking at, oh my gosh, this is all this belief in guilt that has brought us to this place where we're in this attack and defense role that it perpetuates by our belief in it and our desire to keep it going. Let me see what's in the chat. Oh yeah, Bob's getting ready to go on his trip. Oh, you guys have fun. Um, uh, yeah, ethnic bias, the chosen people. Oh my God, don't get me going on the chosen people. Because I could go off on that too. We're all chosen. Anybody have any other thoughts before we move on? Get a little tired of hearing my own voice. So, so anyway, basically, if you believe in all this stuff, then it's because you have this sick attraction to guilt. And it's real to you. Death is real to you. Sickness is real to you. War is real to you. Attack is real to you. And uh, he says, no one would choose to let go of what he believes has value if the attraction of guilt has value to you only because you have not looked at what it is and have judged it completely in the dark. As we bring it to light, your only question will be why it was you ever wanted it. You have nothing to lose by looking open eyed, for ugliness such as this belongs not in your holy mind. This host of God can have no real investment here. So, yeah, our investment in the world, that's what keeps us on that merry-go-round, which are pretty boring merry-go-rounds, in my opinion. All right. Who would like to read paragraph 4? Yes, Deb. Hi, sweetie. Good to see you.
I'll
I,
read it.
I was going to read
Oh,
Sharon.
I'm sorry. You read, honey. I was on all morning. Please read.
Okay. If as long as my internet holds out. We said before that the ego attempts to maintain and increase guilt, but in such a way that you do not recognize what it would do to you. For it is the ego's fundamental doctrine that what you do to others, you have escaped. The ego wishes no one well, yet its survival depends on your belief that you are exempt from its evil intentions. It counsels, therefore, that if you are host to it, it will enable you to direct its anger outward, thus protecting you. And thus it embarks on an endless, unrewarding chain of special relationships, forged out of anger and dedicated to but one insane belief that the more anger you invest outside yourself, the safer you become. Is it all right if I comment?
Oh, yes, please. I hope you do.
I am so grateful to be here and to listen to you talk with your laughter. I have been very caught up in the drama of my egoic story. And I shared openly on this group a few nights ago. And since then, I have seen my egoic story, which is, I honestly believe, everyone's egoic story. The details are different, but the story is the same. I thought this happened. I thought that it destroyed me. And listening to you about what you perceive makes you better than others. I believed myself to be such an honest, kind, loving person. And yet I could never connect the way I wanted. And the way I shared the other night, I said, all my life, I did not feel loved. I just did not. I remember as a really young child not feeling loved. And of course, things happened in the egoic realm that continued to help me see that was the truth. There were so many incidents of violation, and at a ridiculously young age, I decided to go it alone. And don't you dare try to tell me anything. And I didn't know that then, but I fought so hard to find a relationship, someone to love me. I married a man and had 3 beautiful children. And if I told you some of the stories that we experienced that were total miracles, and yet I divorced him because he didn't love me. And then I pursued like another relationship, and each one was downgraded, getting worse and worse and worse until many years ago I stopped doing that. But my ego attacked my family. And the harder they tried to love me, the more I denied who they are and what they are. And telling it the other night, like, I was blessed with the most amazing father you could ever imagine. It's why many years ago I decided to move in with him and help him in his old age. I was dedicated to that my whole life. But I also had the most amazing brother. Like, as a young person, he was the most beautiful being I had ever laid eyes on. And it was true physically, but it was more true in the truth of my being. I had an amazing father and an amazing brother. My brother died of cirrhosis of the liver when he was only 63 years old. And there's a lot of details that has made it particularly hard, but still I denied the truth of how blessed I was and continued to manifest this anger, this frustration, this fear, to the point where I've been having physical symptoms for a couple of years that can't be rooted, can't be found. My doctors roll their eyes. And this is a testimony to this group, because just the laughter alone is enough to heal me. It is enough for me to remember the truth, who I really am. And it's funny when you say, Lynn, does anyone have any thoughts? I'm like, oh, thoughts, no. But if I can share a moment of the I amness that you all share so easily, and I'm so grateful to have found you. I don't know if this ties in totally with our reading, but every sentence, every chapter, every paragraph is the belief in the ego, the belief in the body is what takes us out of the truth and away from, and the thing is, realizing this created a guilt in me that almost killed me. And it hasn't yet, and I'm not going to let it, because I really want to live, and I really want to laugh, and I really want to share the spirit of God that I know. And I've always known, I just didn't really believe it was real. And anyway, that's all I'm going to say for right now, so I don't turn this into a monologue. Thanks.
Oh, thanks, Deb. Oh, that was beautiful. That was delicious. That whole everything you just said just fed my heart, fed my soul. And yes, it's absolutely, it's so funny because this paragraph, these things that we're reading, Jesus is being very clear about what the ego is all about, and what the ego does, and how it acts and reacts. And people will so many times, oh, you make friends with your ego. Your ego is just your broken inner child. And I remember when I first probably had been studying the course for a while, but I heard someone ask David Hoffmeister, shouldn't we be making friends with our ego, and treating it like it's a wayward child? And he said, the ego wants you dead. And I'm like, oh my God. And that's exactly what the Course says. The ego wants you dead, but not itself. And that this is these things that makes you believe, and it doesn't really make you believe in these things. It gives you it offers up these stories. And the stories are crafted in a way to make us believe that we would be safe if we followed its direction, did what it wanted, and to adapt to the fear, uh, protect and defend ourselves, soothe ourselves, help ourselves, all this kind of stuff. It says it right here. The ego wishes no one well, but its survival depends on your belief that you're exempt from its evil intentions. It I think I can control it, I can handle it, but the reality of it is, uh, the ego will just keep the ego going, and it's only through recognizing the love that you really are. And I love the thought, the laughter. It can't have any power over you if you laugh at it. When you look at it and say, what the hell are you? Get out of here, uh, leave me alone, foul creature. This is not your home. I don't belong to you. So I love that. I love everything you said, Deb. God, I'm so glad you joined us. I'm happy to have you here. Sharon, yeah, go ahead on. You're muted.
I know, I was trying to get it unhooked. Yeah, I
Okay.
love Deb's voice. It's so soothing, like yours, Lynn. Very soothing voice. I'm a voice person. I like voices because I guess I don't like mine, but I don't know many people that like their voice because the ego doesn't like any parts of us, really. But, when it comes to, parts therapy, I have a book from Gabrielle Bernstein's book, and it's all about Dick Schwartz's work. He does deal with the ego differently. He says all parts are included because the whole point here is not to run away from the separate self, but to join with it, to transmute it into the wholeness. So, I used to say, I'm in the ego. I'm in the ego. And now it's just a matter of who cares? Who cares? Because it falls away on its own just by this work, just by this book. But it has to come alive. The aliveness comes when it comes, and it's just this decision that's made, I think, in the depths of our minds. Because it's not in the outer layer, although we are the infinite, but we have stuff still, or at least for me, I have stuff still that needs to be transmuted. So there are ways to deal with it that are different than the Course, but the Course is probably the hardest one for the ego because it directly talks about the ego. Like it makes it like it's a psychological spiritual text. So it really gives you the psychology of the ego and how dreadful it can be. But it's really benign. We make it as, at least I did. I thought that I'm a person, so therefore I'm Sharon. And no, we are mind. The decision-making mind is making all of this up. So anyway, that's all. And if you want me to read, I can read. But I want to thank Deb for. I just love what she shared last week, and I love when people join here because I think it's a beautiful group. Anyway, thanks.
Yeah, thank you, Sharon. And yeah, if you want to read the next paragraph, that would be great. Is it big enough? Do I need to make it bigger?
No, it's good. It is
Okay.
this chain that binds the Son of God to guilt. And it is this chain the Holy Spirit would remove from his holy mind. Now, see that, holy mind, because that's really where it is. But it's really, we're still in heaven. And Deb shared that the other night, that, nothing happened. So we are still in heaven. The character is completely just a thought or an idea in our mind. So we're still in the holy mind. And for the chain of savagery belongs not around the chosen host of God, who cannot make himself host to the ego. In the name of his release, in the name of him, who would release him? Let us look more closely at the relationships the ego contrives, and let the Holy Spirit judge them truly. For it is certain that if you will look at them, you will offer them gladly to him. What he can make of them, you do not know, but you will become willing to find out if you are willing first to perceive what you have made of them. So it's taking responsibility for everything. It's being responsible for the fact that these thoughts that I'm believing are, it's the full self, and have no reality, because every one of us has different stories. We have the same ego, but we all have different stories. And it's just an ingenious thing, the ego, because it really is enticing, especially when you start this work. Sometimes it turns out the real well-known spiritual teachers, and that can be a problem for those who really teach, as a business, because we are undoing and we don't know what's next. We can only be here now. But, when a teacher has that, I think it can enliven the ego more because it makes them special. At least that's what I did to some teachers. And I had said this morning, there's never anybody else but you, because inside the Christ picks it all. So it's kind of like, why would I want to have dirt for dinner? Why not, have the delight of the truth of just realizing that the only thing you really want now is the truth, because it's simple. And it's very simple and easy once you're there and you realize that it's ridiculous to keep this story going. But the story will still flow out, but it's so meaningless. And it's all this desire for specialness. And that's the hidden desire that Mickey had shared last night that I believe we all seem to have, because it's a hook, like we're who we truly are. We are all the same. There's nothing different. So that's all. Thanks.
Wow. Thank you, Sharon. Yeah. Oh my goodness. Yeah. Uh, Really, it is just a choice that we're doing all the time of what voice we're wanting to listen to. Rafi, yes, please go ahead.
Well, what just jumped up to me is that there's no one here that can offend me, and there's no one here that I can offend because there is no one here. There is no individual here. That's the illusion. This person, I'm not a person. There's no person. There's no one here. What to be offended? Who can I offend? That's none of that's real. And the stronger that hits me, the more powerful, the more permanently I get into the quiet that is the only reality, where there's no thought, where there are no recurring feelings or thoughts that keep coming up because they aren't real. And staying with that is becoming easier and easier. Thank you.
Thank you, Rafi. Mickey, yes, please go ahead.
I just need to go over this paragraph again, if you don't mind,
Please do.
because there are things jumping out at me. So it is this chain, so this chain of desire, this chain of desire for special relationships. It is this chain that binds the Son of God to guilt. It is this chain the Holy Spirit would remove from his holy mind. So we just have to be open to the Holy Spirit removing that chain, ego's chain, from our holy minds. For the chain of savagery belongs not around the chosen host of God. And earlier in the text, I can't remember where it is right now, would you be hostage to the ego or host to God? And we are the chosen host of God. For the chain of savagery belongs not around the chosen host of God, who cannot make himself host to the ego. So we can only be hostage to the ego. We can be hostage to the ego, we cannot be host, or we can be the host of God. Those are our two choices. In the name of his release, and in the name of him who would release him, which is the Holy Spirit, let us look more closely at the relationships the ego contrives, and let the Holy Spirit judge them truly. Every relationship, I as a separate identity, every relationship Mickey wants to have is a relationship the ego is contriving. When I want you to be my special friend, when I want you to be my special love interest, when I want you to be my cherished relative, when I want you to be anything more special to me than God, it is a relationship the ego is contriving. And all I have to do is let Holy Spirit judge it for what it really is. For it is certain that if you will look at them, you will offer them gladly to him. If I really turn around and look at it truly as something the ego is contriving, I can't do anything but offer it to Holy Spirit gladly. What he can make of them, you do not know, but you will become willing to find out if you are willing first to perceive what you have made of them, if I am willing to look at what I'm really doing when I want to make somebody special, I will be willing to hand it over to Holy Spirit. And I'll become willing to find out what it really is when I am willing to be open to being host to God and not hostage to the ego. Okie doke.
Excuse me. Yeah, so thank you, Mickey, for all that, because what I'm getting as you're reading through that is you have to get to be what like scary honest and to the where you're uncomfortable with your own honesty. You have to be able to look at it and just say, I'm willing to see whatever this is, no matter, what it makes me think I am myself, or how, how twisted it may be. I'm willing to see it and I'm willing to own up to it. Um, Not because I'm guilty of being twisted, but that, you know, I've got twisted and I don't want to be anymore. And I never wanted in the first place. We didn't intend to come here and get all twisted up. We really thought we were doing a good thing half the time. And most of the time, we think we're doing a good thing. We're doing the right thing. So, uh, to get to really look at what is the purpose of this relationship and what is my purpose in this relationship, uh, then then I can actually let the Holy Spirit be in charge of the relationship without my interference. Because once I realize all of the my purposes for most relationships are selfish, they have to do with something that I want, or something I think I can get, or something I think I can give that would give me the feeling of being a hero, or being a good person for sacrificing, or, look at all your motives, examine all your motives. And when you start examining your motives, you're going to find that, oh my gosh, I've been fooling myself. I've been lying to myself this whole time, and I'm not guilty for it because it's just silliness. It is just silly. Uh, anyway, I think I'm going to stop this share. We'll start back next week on paragraph 6, because he's going to go into all the different ways that that the ego relationships, uh, how we make them, how we keep them, how we uh, make them real to us. I'm excited about all that. But I see Rev Wayne is here and Ozzy is here. I'm so grateful for that. Y'all are looking good today. I'm going to go ahead and stop this YouTube. And once again, thank you all for joining us here at ACIM Gather for A Course in Miracles. Please like and subscribe if you want to, and you'll find out about all of our nice programs that come up. And thank